So hi everyone, and this is a follow-on from last week's video where we discussed emotional overwhelm and being able to understand that. And I thought it would be really helpful to give you one little strategy to try when somebody is really overwhelmed, that is very visual and is not something that needs an awful lot of auditory processing to be able to help calm things down. Because if you have watched the video, you'll know that I mentioned that when we're completely overwhelmed, our brain's not very good at that point of being able to understand auditory language. So as we said, no one's ever calmed down from someone telling them to calm down. It just potentially makes things a lot worse. So we need something visual that kicks in at that point. Now, then when we're up here is not the time to teach this, all right? This is something that you need to teach way before all of that happens. And it's something that you can introduce with children initially as a game, and with adults it's something to practice before you're in that situation. So it's something that's there for you to use and pull out of the bag. Now, you may have seen in varying different videos and resources about children counting out loud and using their fingers to count. Now, there's a very good reason why we do that. There's lots of stuff around that says that when we're really overwhelmed, we need to take a really big, deep breath to try and calm down. Now, that can be very helpful, but if it's not used properly, big, deep breaths, actually we're putting too much oxygen in our system, and it will potentially speed up your heart, not slow it down. And that's obviously what we want to do. So we're trying to slow breathing down gradually, rather than taking great big gulps of air that potentially will just make us feel quite dizzy and make us feel worse. So the reason that counting out loud using our fingers to 5, or even to then carrying on to 10, depending on where your children's number ability is because you cannot count out loud and breathe in at the same time. Give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't do that, all right? So by default, as you're counting out loud, you are then breathing out, and the aim is that we gradually slow the count down. So for example, when somebody's completely overwhelmed, they might begin by being able to count really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we want them to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that the slow down comes in. Now, you can do that visually at that point if your little person or you as an individual are going to take charge of that. You've practiced that before as a bit of a game, because you're going to model that behavior in front of that person to help them slow down. So for example, you could just be sitting on the sofa and going, look, I can count to 5 really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you do that? And they'll probably go, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I bet you can't do it slower. See if you can count at the same speed as me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they may do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you are going to model that visually. And the more they practice it when they're calm, when it then comes to a point of overwhelm, you're able to introduce the count and go 2, 3, 4, 5. We found from experience you don't need to do many counts, all right? Mainly because as well as the counting and slowing down the breathing, it's also a distraction from whatever it was that was starting to cause the overwhelm in the first place. So it's a bit of a double whammy gold star approach, in my personal opinion. Now, I can hear some of you going, but my child can't count. It doesn't matter what you say, right? You could be saying cat, dog, cat, dog, cat. Whatever it is that you introduce, it's the visual process that's important, and the fact that they're saying something out loud. Something that you can introduce at point of overwhelm, that you can use visually and they can see, and that there's something being said. So it doesn't matter what the words are, and it doesn't matter whether it's a count or it's naming animals or flowers or cars or whatever, the thing that's important is that you can connect in with them, just waving your hands and going, we're going to do this, because you've already practiced that loads of times when it's calm. And so when it then comes in and they need something visual to key into when they're here, you can then provide that. I'd really love to hear how you get on with it as an approach. So give it a go, try it out, and leave some comments underneath the video below, and then we'll see how you get on. And if you need any more support and advice, we can then respond to that accordingly. Have a really good time. Hope things are starting to calm down for you. And don't forget that we're here to make the complex really easy to understand. Please see us on Facebook at Autism and ADHD 1. And we'll be back again next week with another mini training. Take care. Bye-bye.